What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. This your boy Peachy Perfect, and thank you for joining me to be a part of the Don't Cancel Me Sports. I am so excited that you all have joined me for another video. We have a lot of fun things to talk about. Hey, it's been it was a busy last week, so I apologize for the lack of content, but we're gonna make up for with everything that we have to talk about today. We got Russell Westbrook retiring from the NBA, the Lakers being sold, and an amazing Christmas day full of games that I cannot wait to talk about because it's going to be an amazing day on Jesus' birthday. But before we get into any of that, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment because the story continues in the comments. So I'm so excited to get into all these stories. I hope you all have been enjoying the content. But here we go with episode, I want to say this is episode 4 or 5, but that doesn't even matter. But we're getting ready to go into it right now. And we're going to start this video off with breaking news from the NBA. Russell Westbrook, future Hall of Famer Russell Westbrook, has officially retired after 18 NBA seasons. How will you remember the Hall of Famer? How will you remember Russell Westbrook? He officially had decided to hang up the shoes and move on to the next avenue in his life. This is just a little bit of his resume. This is Russell Westbrook's resume. Westbrook was the 2017 NBA MVP, 9-time NBA All-Star, 9-time NBA All-NBA, 2-time NBA scoring champion, 3-time NBA assist leader, averaged 20.9 points per game, 8 assists, and 6.9 rebounds per game. NBA's all-time triple-double leader, averaged a triple-double for a season, not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times, led the league in all-time triple-double, averaging a triple-double. The next person behind him done it twice. Reached the NBA Finals with the Oklahoma City Thunder, but of course, never won an NBA championship. Russell Westbrook had an NBA career that people dreamed of. I personally will remember Russell Wilson for how hard he played and the attitude he played with every single night. There are some professional athletes that you watch on television that you come across that you can tell they're just different than other people. Russell Westbrook was that. It wasn't about the money for us. It wasn't really about the accolades for us. Some might argue that, but it wasn't about the accolades for us. Russ was going to give you everything Russ had every single night. And it didn't matter what team he was on. He played for the Thunder, the Rockets. I think he was at the Kings for a little bit. The Nuggets. Forgot where else he was at. But wherever he was, he played extremely hard. I will always remember that about Russell Westbrook. He is undoubtedly a future Hall of Famer. 9 times? What was it? 9-time NBA All-Star? 9 times All-NBA? To make an All-NBA team 9 times. To lead the league in triple-doubles 4 times. To average a triple-double. I don't know where you would rank him amongst the top point guards to ever play the game. You know, Magic Johnson, Steph Curry, Chris Paul, Oscar Robertson. I don't know where you would rank him in the all-time point guard rankings, but I know for our generation, he was definitely a top 5 player at that position. The things Russell Westbrook was able to do on the court, had the energy that he was playing with hadn't been seen before. People couldn't keep up with the pace of the Oklahoma City Thunder because of him alone. Him and KD was able to take down that old Lakers team and reach the NBA Finals. Of course, they lost to LeBron James and the Miami Heat, but there's no shame in that. Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, James Harden lost to LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. There's no shame in that. That is the only NBA Finals that he reached. Not everybody can win a championship. But we shouldn't judge that a person strictly on championships. I thought Russell would play one more season. I thought he would try to get picked up by someone that can come off the bench and give someone energy. But I guess the market or the teams that he was looking at wasn't really the same teams that he was trying to go to. And so I can understand him wanting to hang it up now and go out on your own terms. Russell, a career that should be celebrated, a career that should be honored. Oscar Robertson, I want to say in 1960, I'm sorry I don't have it in front of me, but 60 something, was the last person to average a triple-double in the season until 2017 when Russell Westbrook came and did it. Like I said, not only did he do it then, but he did it 4 times. I always thought Russell Westbrook was unfairly criticized when Kevin Durant left because they said KD and Russ can't play together. Because of Russ, KD and the Oklahoma City Thunder gave up a 3-1 lead to the 7-3-9 Golden State Warriors. They blamed Russ for that. They blamed Russ for KD leaving when they both had a part to play in that. He was always unfairly criticized for that. Now, being a LeBron James fan, I'm not going to sit here and act like I was a fan of Russ during his Lakers tenure. I wasn't a fan of that. He wasn't the best shooter. And that's what has to play with LeBron. Hence he got the name Westbrook from Skip Bayless. But everywhere else, all his other stops, Russell played hard. He was a huge fan. I was a huge fan of how hard he played, the tenacity he played with, the attitude, the aggression, attacking the rim violently. This game is going to miss Russell Westbrook. We're going to miss him dearly. As a fan of basketball, I can appreciate what he's done. And I can't wait to see him go into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame because he deserves to be there along with all the other great players. How will you remember Russ? Do you remember it? Will your memory of Russ be him as overrated? Do you feel like the triple doubles made of overrated Russ? In 40 years, no one had done it until he came along and done it. So we can't devalue it now just because he was doing it and making it look so easy. If it was that easy, other people would have done it. How will you remember Russell Westbrook? Let me know in the comments. I got to know. I got to know. How will you remember? How will he be remembered in your mind? Sticking with the NBA. Also breaking news today. The Los Angeles Lakers, which is a team that Westbrook played for, sold for $12.5 billion to Kushner and Bob Iger, to Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. This is only a year after they were sold to the Walter family last year. I want to say that again. The Los Angeles Lakers today have sold. What this week, whenever you're seeing this video, this week, today, whenever. The Los Angeles Lakers have sold for $12.5 billion after selling for $10 billion just a year ago. So, as billionaires, are they just flipping NBA franchises now? Buying one of the most valuable franchises in all of sports? $12.5 billion is a record-breaking sale price, which broke the $10 billion that it was sold last year. To gain $2 billion in 1 year is already insane in itself. But the Los Angeles Lakers, who was never sold since the Buzz family acquired them in 1979, I think it is. Was it 1979? I want to say it was. Yes. The Buzz family owned the organization beginning in 1979, which is one of sports' greatest family-controlled sports franchises. And now they have been sold twice in the matter of 16 months, 14 months, I think it is. What's really going on behind the scenes with this franchise? And are the Lakers in bigger trouble than we think? Did this have something to do with LeBron James leaving? Did he see this coming? I just don't see someone purchasing the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers. When you talk about the Lakers, they're up there with the great franchises in sports as far as brands. The Lakers, the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Celtics, the Knicks. These are global brands that no matter where you are, you can be in Thailand. And if you have a hat, I wish I had it when I would have put it on. If you have a hat that says NY on it, you know that's the Yankees. If you see the LA on the hat, you know that's the Dodgers. No matter where you are in the world. Of course, the Cowboys are the most valuable franchise in all of sports. The star is recognized worldwide as well. But the Lakers, the Los Angeles Lakers, being flipped and sold like they trading in the flea market. I don't understand why the Lakers. It has to be some things going on behind the scenes. This guy has, whoever the Walter guy, he's being investigated, or something has to happen. I think I saw something, but I didn't do a whole lot of research to it, so I'll make another video regarding that. But I know there's something going on, and that has to be the sole reason. But this the same guy that the former owner of the Lakers also owns the Dodgers. So why he sell the Lakers but not the Dodgers? Unless that's coming at a later date. Stay tuned for more breaking news. Then you sell it to Disney. Bob Iger. Josh Kushner. Businessmen. Now, I am one of the few that happen to trust Bob Iger. You know, he was able to turn Disney into what it is. You know, Disney owns ESPN. Disney owns National Geographic. Disney owns Marvel. Disney owns a lot. Now Disney owns the Los Angeles Lakers. What a run for Disney. I don't think Bob Iger is CEO of Disney anymore, but still, you get the point. What does this mean for basketball operations? I still think the new ownership will come in and see Luka Doncic as the central piece for what they're trying to build. You know, what Luka's able to do on the basketball court, he wakes up and give you 40 and 15 like it's nothing. And then I saw Luka in shape too. With Luka being in shape, under new ownership, which I think this deal still has a couple months to go through, so this might happen somewhere mid-season or something like that. But for him for them to have new ownership and take this team to another direction, we don't know. We know Luka's not going anywhere. He just got traded from Dallas. They're not giving up a superstar like that. The Lakers always keep a superstar. Always keep a superstar. There's no way to get rid of Luka and go through a period of time where they have no superstars. I just don't see that. I don't see that being a thing. So I don't understand how a sale like this happens. Literally, it's like people that's in real estate buying homes. You buy a home for $300,000, put a little money into it, put $50,000 into it, and then sell the house for $500,000. Flipping houses. We flipping sports franchises now. And the way I understand it too is Josh Kushner and Bob Iger were going to buy the expansion team in Vegas. But why go through all the trouble of having to build a team from scratch when you can take over a historic franchise like the Los Angeles Lakers? So from a business perspective, I get it. But from a basketball competitive standpoint, what does this mean for the coach? What does this mean for the GM? I'm sure they're safe for this season, but if this season doesn't go the way that the Lakers plan, are they now on the hot seats? So this is going to be, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens and how this plays throughout the season, because as we're going to talk about later, the Lakers have a big season coming up. Poor Bronny. What happens with him? New ownership don't care nothing about that feel good story. LeBron's gone. Will Bronny be out the door too? It really does make me worry that the Lakers are in more trouble than we realize. Instability. Let me rephrase that. Stability and ownership matters. Not many teams are winning championships when the top isn't right. Look at all the championship teams. You can argue the Knicks. But when the Knicks were making the playoffs and losing, James Dolan and the top in ownership was not stable. It wasn't until he removed himself. Some people say he was focusing on the spear in Vegas and things like that. But no, whatever the reason is, once he removed himself, and they had to get some players and get, and I'm not saying that's the only thing, but once Dolan removed himself and ownership got a little more stable, the Knicks were able to win a championship. So I want to know, let me know what you all think in the comments. Are the Lakers in more trouble than we realize? Will this sale affect the Los Angeles Lakers on the court? You let me know in the comments down below as we get ready to move into our next story. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. Please leave a comment, leave comments. I'm going to be doing giveaways soon, very, very soon, for the Texans preseason game. So please, if you're in Houston and you want to go to the game, make sure you're watching these videos, because I got a special surprise for someone out there on today. So speaking of NFL, speaking of the preseason and all that good stuff, let's move into the National Football League. As last week we got our Hall of Fame game that kicked off the 2026-7 NFL season. We had the Carolina Panthers and the Arizona Cardinals, who gave us an amazing game to start this season, as both teams played extremely well, and it came down to a touchdown with time expiring, and you can't ask for a better game than that, no matter who's out there on the field. But of course, the Hall of Fame game does, the reason why it's called the Hall of Fame game is because because it is the weekend that the Hall of Fame inductees get to go into Canton, into football heaven. And we had people go in such as Larry Fitzgerald. We had Adam Vinatieri. And we had who else went? It was Larry Fitzgerald, Adam Vinatieri. I can't remember the other guys' names, but this is the people that were going into the Hall of Fame. Oh, Luke Kuechly was one as well. Sorry, it just skipped my mind. But now, after we normally finish the Hall of Fame, the inductees, we normally get the list of who is eligible the next year. I want to read off 5 names that are eligible, that are first time eligible next season. Adrian Peterson, Rob Gronkowski, Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, and Cam Newton. Those 5 are just some of the names that are first time eligible Hall of Fame inductees. Of course, some of these guys are going to get in first ballot, which we're going to discuss in a little bit. Some of them are probably going to have to wait a little while. You also got some people that didn't get in this year first ballot. They'll be up next year. There's some people that's their 3rd year. But before we get to those, out of those 5 names that I said, Adrian Peterson, Rob Gronkowski, Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Cam Newton, which one of these, or which 3 of these can get in first ballot? Let's talk about it. Ben Roethlisberger, 2-time Super Bowl champion, 6-time Pro Bowler, 64,000 passing yards, 418 passing touchdowns, 165, 81, and 1 as a starting record. When he retired, he was among the NFL's all-time leader in most passing categories. Does Big Ben deserve to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? You know, in my opinion, compared to other quarterbacks, I'm going to say yes. Big Ben should be celebrated in Canton next year, first ballot. But then it made me think of other first ballot quarterbacks. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Well, Tom Brady hasn't gone in yet, but we know he'll be. Well, we don't know that, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But Peyton Manning was a first ballot Hall of Famer. I want to say John Elway's. Some of these legendary quarterbacks that played the game at a very high level. Of course, all the ones that we know, they were all first ballot Hall of Famers. Do you consider Big Ben to be part of that group? In his era, he was one of the best. It was Brady. It was Manning. In that 3rd spot, it's kind of hard to argue that Big Ben doesn't belong. He won 2 Super Bowls. Just like Peyton. And you can argue, at least for one of those Super Bowls, Big Ben wasn't just along for the ride, if you know what I'm saying. Big Ben also has probably one of the most iconic Super Bowl throws of all time to Santonio Holmes in the back of the end zone. I think I really was going back and forth on this, but I do believe Big Ben should be first ballot. Moving on to Antonio Brown. At his peak, AB is probably the greatest receiver to ever play this game. I want to read off AB's resume. 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first team All-Pro, 12,291 receiving yards, 83 receiving touchdowns, 928 receptions, and the Super Bowl champion. From 2013 to 2018, Brown produced 6 straight seasons with 100+ receptions. But the issue with AB is not what he did on the field, but what he did off the field. Antonio Brown should not go into the Hall of Fame as a first ballot. I'm not even sure second and third. Now, I do understand that the Hall of Fame is what you did on the field. But that changed with Terrell Owens. If T.O. wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, there's no way in the world Antonio Brown will be as well. If I'm Hall of Fame voters, I'm personally would never put Antonio Brown in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to get over what I saw, what he did against the Jets on that Sunday afternoon. When he quit in the middle of a game. I don't know how most people might feel about this, but this is my show and I really don't care. You can cancel me all you want. Antonio Brown should never get into the Hall of Fame simply from how he quit on the football field. There is no one in the Hall of Fame that's a quitter. Find me one. Write it in the comments. Find me someone that is in the Hall of Fame that is a quitter, that quit on their team. You can't. Now, if you want to give him the Hall of Fame 60 years from now, after he probably didn't pass away or something like that, then go, well, I don't care then. We should not honor what he did. We should not honor how he left the game. The game means too much to me to just sit there and allow him to do that and allow him to be praised and honored for what he did on that football field on that Sunday, and when he was with Tampa and playing for the Jets, quit with Tom Brady as his quarterback. You didn't even have the respect for the GOAT to finish the game and then quit on Monday. Antonio Brown should never go into the Hall of Fame. Now, for the ones that I do feel like are going to get in no matter what you think about the previous two, Rob Gronkowski and Adrian Peterson, to me, are for sure first ballot Hall of Famers. Adrian Peterson, one of the few running backs to win the MVP award. Adrian Peterson, I don't even have to get into all the numbers. Can you tell the story of football without the name Adrian Peterson? You can't. Rob Gronkowski, probably the greatest tight end to ever play. Shannon Sharp says Travis Kelce and Rob Gronkowski are the two best tight ends to ever play. And that comes from the man before they made it to the league, you can argue was the greatest tight end to ever play. First ballot Hall of Famers. Cam Newton, as important and as influential to the game as Cam Newton was, I don't see him as a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, can I see Cam Newton getting in sometime down the road? Possibly. But first ballot, we leave Cam out of this conversation. He does not belong in the same conversation as the rest of them. Even Antonio Brown. And as controversial as I probably was on Antonio Brown, I probably would let him in first ballot before I let Cam in. Cam Newton, as great as he was, now maybe if he'd have won that Super Bowl in that 2015 season, we could be saying we could have an argument. But I can also use as an argument and say that was really his only one great season. These other guys had multiple great seasons. But Cam Newton, I get his name is on this list because of how influential he is, how popular he is, and that he's just up for Hall of Fame eligibility. If this is the Hall of Popularity, I give it to him. The Hall of Influence, Cam Newton is first ballot. But the Hall of Fame for players and what you've done on the field, I don't know. So we know 2 or 3 of these guys are probably going to be first ballot. We still got some people that didn't get in last year. Bill Belichick. What do you do with him? Who should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, 6-time Super Bowl champion as a head coach, also Super Bowl champion as a coordinator. Eli Manning, also a 2-time Super Bowl champion, took down the GOAT not once, but twice. What do you do with these guys as they'll be looking to get into the Hall of Fame? You still got the Reggie Waynes and the Torrey Holts and these guys, these legendary football players that should be there as well. What do you do with these guys? What do you do with them? So let me know what y'all think in the comments down below, man. Would you put Antonio Brown in? And which 3 out of those 5 names would you put in the Hall of Fame? Out of Adrian Peterson, Rob Gronkowski, Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Cam Newton. Who are you putting in as first ballot? Let me know in the comments below. I can't wait to see what y'all have to say about that. Moving on to Dallas, Texas, where that team, the Dallas Cowboys, reside now. I know. Who likes the Cowboys on this channel? Not me. I got Texan stuff behind me, H-Town to the day I die. But like I said earlier in the video, the Cowboys are the #1 brand in the world. They're always going to make headlines. And they made headlines this week as the Cowboys give Quinnen Williams a 3-year, $105 million extension. That comes out to be about $35 million per year. Does this signing make the Cowboys a formidable opponent? Where will the Cowboys finish in the NFC East? Last year, the Cowboys' offense was historically great, but their defense was historically bad. With the addition of Quinnen Williams, I believe they got Logan Wilson from the Bengals, and also drafting Caleb Downs was probably maybe the best football player in the draft last season. The Cowboys defense should be much better, but they were so bad, the only way they could go is up. That's the only way they can go, up. But if that defense can get into the top 15 and their offense remains the same, whoo, Dallas is going to be a force. I do think that division has gotten better. I think the Eagles might be a little better without A.J. Brown. Addition by subtraction. The Giants, probably the NFL's youngest, hottest team. And the Commanders, who just 2 seasons ago was in the NFC Championship game. They're going to be looking to get back. Do the Cowboys have what it takes to win this division? Do they? Signing Quinnen Williams and locking up their defensive line helps. They need to be able to stop the run. They still need some work in the secondary. But everybody knows a great secondary can be born from a great pass rush. You don't need to have a Champ Bailey or Darrelle Revis or Deion Sanders if you have an amazing pass rush. Not everybody can be the Houston Texans and have a Danielle Hunter and a Will Anderson and a Jadeveon Clowney but then have an all-pro corner and Derek Stingley locking up their number one receiver. Not everybody can be as fortunate as us. But nonetheless, all they need is a great pass rush and to be able to have a decent defense to make a great run. A lot of people are now saying the New York Knicks won the NBA championship. Will the Dallas Cowboys be the next? The Dallas Cowboys haven't been to an NFC championship game since 1996. I apologize, my year is wrong, but I think it's 1996. They said the number one song in the world at that time was Mariah Carey. Christmas song. All I Want for Christmas. The Dallas Cowboys should be a formidable opponent, but I can't give you my prediction yet. I can't tell you if I think they're going to win the NFC East yet because I'm working on my NFL predictions video, which is going to be coming first week of September. So I can't tell y'all that yet. I don't want to ruin it. But I have a strong idea of what I think is going to happen in this division, and I cannot wait to share it with y'all. But let me know, does this signing help the Cowboys win the NFC East? Will the Cowboys win the NFC East? Let me know down in the comments below. I got to know what y'all think. Cowboys fans, stay away. This is not your year. Stop saying that. Maybe the year y'all stop saying this is your year, you might actually go and win the Super Bowl. So let's try that first. Every year is not your year. In other breaking news, well, this was breaking news if you didn't. This is only breaking news if you didn't know football. Because if you knew football, then you already knew that Kyler Murray was not going to lose the job to JJ McCarthy. I called him JJ McCarthy. If you watched JJ McCarthy play last year, you knew Kyler Murray was going to win this job from the jump. Kyler Murray is arguably the greatest Texas high school football athlete to ever live. Won national championships every year at Allen High School. This dude is a phenomenal player. I think he's just small. I wouldn't want him quarterbacking my team. But I know he's better than JJ McCarthy. That was no given. And the Vikings knew that as well. I think they wanted to create a little controversy because they wanted to plant little seeds in the media, because how can you explain you drafting JJ McCarthy with the 10th overall pick and in 3 seasons he's not ready to play? You had to create a quarterback competition. I don't think there was ever a real competition. They named Kyler Murray the starter before he even played a preseason game. They've only had 10 to 13 practices. Could be a little more, could be a little less. I don't know exactly how many practices they got. But you named a starter before you even played your first preseason game. That tells me that they already knew where they were going with this decision. Look at the Browns, for example. Todd Monken just came out a few minutes before I started this video and said that Deshaun Watson will start in week 1, the first preseason game, and that Shedeur Sanders will start in the second preseason game. That sounds like someone who's having a real competition, who really don't know which way he wants to lean. Is it too early? Is it too early to say that JJ McCarthy is a bust? Some people might say it's early. Some people are comparing him possibly to Daniel Jones. When Daniel Jones was able to go to Minnesota and put on for them a little bit and went to the Colts and was 8-0 before he hurt his leg. Well, no, he lost a couple games before he hurt his leg, but you get what I'm saying. We got off to that amazing start and had that career resurgence in Indianapolis. Some people are comparing JJ McCarthy to that. But at least in Daniel Jones, I saw him go to the playoffs. And if I'm not mistaken, they won that playoff game. Daniel Jones always had little splashes of he can be a starter in this league. I have yet to see JJ McCarthy have any type of success. Besides that first game he started, where I think they won like, I don't know, 14-6 or something. It was a very, very low scoring game. And it was a lot of miracle things that need to happen for him to win. But it was a good moment. I enjoyed the moment. I was cheering for him because I want to see underdog stories. I want to see players defy the odds. But after getting more consistent film on JJ McCarthy, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. Hey, it's okay. Everybody ain't made to be a starting NFL quarterback. Everybody's not made for it. Let me know in the comments, do you think JJ McCarthy is a bust? Or is it too early for us to call him a bust? Let me know in the comments what you think. And let me know, what do you think? What is the Minnesota Vikings record going to be with Kyler Murray as the starting quarterback? For our last topic of the day, before we get into our last topic, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, because the conversation continues in the comments. That's a lot of C's. The conversation continues in the comments. Let me know what you all think. Let me know how y'all are feeling on all these topics. I really, really want to argue and debate with you all. You never know when your comment might end up in the next video. So, last thing I want to talk about is the NBA schedule was released. Of course, it called the NBA's schedule release was a huge talking point this week, as we were able to get our opening night games, but most importantly, we were able to get our Christmas Day games. Of course, for years, the NBA have always played games on Christmas, and we always would sit in front of the TV and watch the great LeBron versus KD arguments. And I, for one, am so excited for this year's Christmas Day games. The NBA now has competition when the NFL started playing games on Christmas. I was fortunate enough to go to one of the NFL's first Christmas Day games here in Houston when the Ravens came to Houston and demolished us 31-2 at the Beyonce concert here in Houston. I was there. NFL on Christmas is amazing. It is the holiday for football. Cold weather, family time, and NFL football. But of course, with the NFL doing that, it was a threat to the NBA. But now this year, I think it's the first year we're going to see it all coexist together. We have 5 amazing NBA games and 3 awesome NFL games. I want to read this out to y'all of what's going to happen. I think this is in order too. Yeah, this is in order in time. So this is how your day is going to be. So Christmas Day, I suggest you get to open. Everybody needs to be up at 6 a.m. in my house. We're opening gifts early because I don't plan on moving from the TV after 12 o'clock. 12 p. But this is Eastern time, so I'm gonna just say it in Eastern time then. So 1 o'clock Eastern. Spurs and Knicks, NBA Finals rematch. How exciting is that? It was one of the best NBA Finals that I've seen in a long time. Even though I know it was 4-1, that matchup was top tier. Spurs should have won 3 of those games, and the Knicks came back to win. That's going to be an amazing. Victor Wembanyama getting his rematch against the champion New York Knicks. That's at noon Eastern. I apologize. At noon Eastern, if I didn't say that, I think I said 1. At noon Eastern, that's Spurs and Knicks. At 1 Eastern, Bears and Packers. One of the NFL's oldest rivalries. Oh my God. Jordan Love going to Caleb Williams. We know how those matchups go. I can't wait to see that one. Celtic and Heat. Giannis in Miami playing on Christmas Day, going to Boston. That's gonna be blockbuster. I can't wait to see that. Giannis versus Tatum. Bills and Broncos. A match, Josh Allen against that defense and Bo Nix in a game that could possibly be for the 1 seed, maybe 2 seed at that time, depending on what the Texans got to say about it. That game is at 4:30 Eastern time. But at 5 is probably the game of the weekend. Of the day, excuse me. This is Jesus' gift to us on his birthday. LeBron James, Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and VJ Edgecombe go to Los Angeles to play Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. LeBron returns back to LA. LeBron has an opportunity to match up against his son. If the NBA don't give us that, they failed. I don't care if it's for a possession. We better see Bronny match up against Bron. And Bron, you better cook him. You better cook him. I know growing up you probably cooked for him, but as an adult, you better cook him. Well done. But what if Bronny cooks Bron? We'll have to wait and see. I think Bron's going to have a massive game on Christmas, y'all. I'm looking at a 38, 14, and 6. He's 42 years old at this time. No, he'll still be 41. He turned 42, I think, a week after. Maybe. I can't remember his birthday. I know it's in December. He'll be 41, 42. But that's going to be one of them games where he's going to dial back the clock a little bit because he's going to have a point to prove on Christmas Day. The Thunder and the T-Wolves. LaMelo Ball. Anthony Edwards. Against Shai Gilgeous and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Solid game right there. And then at 8:05 Eastern, the Rams and the Seahawks, which is probably going to be one of the biggest rivalry games of the year. Who's not excited for Rams and Seahawks? I can argue that the Rams and Seahawks game last year is the one game that single-handedly changed the history of football. Had the Rams won that game, they probably would have been Super Bowl champions. You never know. In this Avengers Doomsday time, I don't know what happened in another multiverse. And then ending off the night is the Golden State Warriors and the Denver Nuggets. Steph Curry. The Warriors are the worst team on this whole Christmas Day slate, but it's Steph Curry. And who doesn't want to watch Steph Curry on Christmas? So I'm one for excited. I think this year both sports are going to learn how to coexist on Christmas. The ratings don't even matter. We know the NFL is going to dominate ratings. That's what they do. They are a rating machine. But that Sixers and Lakers, Spurs and Knicks is going to be must-see TV. Now, I ain't sponsored by them or anything, but shout out to YouTube TV. I can have multiple things going on at one time. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the Christmas Day slate, but let me know, what game are you most excited about on Christmas Day? I cannot wait to see what you all have to say in the comments down below. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you all will comment and like this video and subscribe and be back again, because the sports is about to kick up and I cannot for one wait. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. You never know when your comment is going to be on this video. And remember, don't cancel me for my opinions. I'll see y'all on the next video. I'm out.